Subscribe to Grazia and press on the bell icon.
Hi, Tapsi. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're here to obviously talk about the very, very important subject of feminine and intimate hygiene. And I think it's been quite a hush hush topic. Culturally for us, and hopefully that's changing. So I'd love to talk to you, about a few issues that are still out there, and just to know your thoughts and opinions about it. So to begin with, when it comes to the topic of feminine hygiene as a phenomenon and as a product, even though you've seen it being advertised on primetime television, the way it's been, the way those ads play out, the associations have always alluded to it being something unhygienic. How do you think this affects women, especially in their formative years? And how do you think that narrative needs to be changed?
It brings about some kind of awkwardness, or some kind of something that you should be embarrassed about, or feel a little disgusted about almost. So I think basically we need to get rid of that. We need to remove this whole secrecy and this whole embarrassment angle to it, which can only happen if we start talking about it in not a very awkward or embarrassed manner. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't really feel we are talking about something that is not right, or we are like, it's almost like as if you've murdered someone and running away. So,
Yeah.
so first try to break that myth in our heads that it's something that you cannot talk about openly. It's a natural phenomena. You're gifted with that, and I would like to stress on the word gifted, because that's very much responsible for mankind, right?
True.
It's a phenomena that's going to, it's actually a meter of your health.
Mm.
It's something that actually tells you how healthy you are, if how, depending upon how your period cycle is going, right? So all these things are actual a mark of a good hygiene or good health. So it needs to be a little more positive shift towards the conversation and around it. There needs to be a positive environment that needs to be created for all menstruators, and hence it's the right way to address it is to talk about it, to make it easy and a comfortable environment for others to talk about it as well. So that's what is the need of the hour.
Okay. And, like you said, there's so much taboo surrounding the subject that's so like culturally conditioned in us. And, we've all had those awkward experiences when you go to the chemist store or the grocery store and, to buy sanitary pads. And it's always like put in a brown paper bag or wrapped in newspapers as if it's something, you need to hide or be
Hmm.
embarrassed about, or like you said, be ashamed about. So how do you think change can be brought about at a societal and a conversational level?
That black bag is almost like either it's something to be embarrassed about, or you're like running away with ransom that you don't want people to see. So either of these two extremes, and sadly this one doesn't lie in either of the extreme. So it's just basic education about the fact that this is neither a ransom that you are hiding from the world, nor something that you're awkward about of having, because you are a woman. You will have it. So it's as natural as any other phenomena your body goes through during while you're growing up, right? So education, I think, is the key. Letting letting men and boys around us uh, know or be aware about this big secret. But I'm not saying go ahead and tell them, but at least not be awkward around them, because it's not like they don't know about it.
Yeah.
They also know about it. It's our awkwardness that makes them feel that, okay, maybe women are awkward to talk about it, so let's just like keep it a such and a hushed thing as well. It just builds upon that awkwardness coming from one gender to the other.
Yeah.
So I think from our side, if we start talking about it casually and normally like anything else, the other gender will also pick on it. I mean, there's no reason for them to feel awkward about it if we are not making it look awkward. So I think that whole inequality in gender, in terms of where we feel that we are going through something that's not uh, normal, or not good enough to talk about, our suppression of a certain sort is kind of bringing this conversation in the more taboo zone or an awkward zone, and we are feeling more and more embarrassed about it. It will help create an inclusive environment if we start owning it up as something that we are gifted with, or it's natural, and there's nothing to be really ashamed or embarrassed about.
Right. Right. And when you spoke about something we're going through, I think just the sheer kind of experience of having your period, I think there's just not enough kind of talk about it, especially with the other sex. And there's been so much talk about period leave now.
Hmm.
Especially, I mean, of course, on a global scale, but also in India, where many large companies are granting up to 2 days of a month for their, menstruating employees to take the day off.
Hmm.
But I feel like this is such a recent thing which should have been like long overdue, because it's not like we've changed the way we're working. And as somebody, whose work involves so much of physical exertion, what are your thoughts about this thing? And also, what has your personal experience been like? Because you're always on your feet.
See, everyone is in a different kind of job. So if I have to think overall, um, everybody goes through a different kind of experience. It's
Hmm.
not my tolerance level will be different from yours and from different from a third woman. So we can't equate it to saying, yeah, because I don't experience it, the others also, should not be experiencing it, or they should just correct it as a problem and then just like deal with it. It's a natural phenomena, and in nature, no five fingers are same, right? So we need to accept that fact that tolerance level and pain differs from individual, and for some, rest becomes crucial for the productivity. If you're going to work, you can only give your 100% when you're there 100%, and your body forms an important part of it, your mind forms an important part of it, and it is really not going to be there if you're going through some immense pain.
Yeah.
So there should be an option of period leave, I feel, which
Hmm.
shouldn't be considered as something to be something you are asking for extra, which is not really equal, or not something that is fair, and all these things, just because if you read the research and statistics, it's about, I don't know, it's like worse than bone crushing, the pain that some women go through.
Yeah.
So it's only human and only fair to the job that you give your 100% when you are there. And if you're not able to give your 100% due to some inability of sorts, which is not in your control,
Hmm.
I think it's fair to ask and to provide that leave.
Yeah, I agree. And another topic I think that needs to be addressed is the ill effects of sanitary and like intimate feminine hygiene products on the environment. Because for
Hmm.
years we've just been buying and using those products. They contain plastic. They come in plastic packaging, and then you're
Hmm.
using and you're discarding it. So
Hmm.
we haven't really stopped to think about how this is affecting the environment. Even though otherwise, there's so much dialogue about being conscious and being sustainable in your clothing choices, for example.
Hmm.
But I feel like
Hmm.
this conversation needs to extend to this, which everybody's pretty much a large part of the population is using. So, how do you feel consumers, especially young ones like Gen Z and millennials, or even older ones, can be kind of educated and informed through mediums that are palatable to them?
I think time has come where the whole environment, saving the environment is not limited to any one particular generation. We are all in this, and we are all suffering, and all we can do is take these small steps that are in our control. All of us don't have the power to take some really big decisions to change things on a large scale, but I think these small steps that we can take at basic daily level can probably end up making a big difference. So that became actually one of the key reasons for me to associate with brand like Leica
Yeah,
and be a co-founder here, because the fact that it's not just for your hygiene, your personal hygiene, your intimate hygiene, it's also good for earth.
yeah,
Like right from product packaging to the product, we take care of this planet. It's 100% biodegradable packaging, and it's going to really help you extend this narrative of taking those small baby steps in your control in your daily life to make sure that environment is not harmed,
yeah.
and you're doing your little bit to feel a little guilt free of using products that are biodegradable.
Right. And speaking of Leica, as the co-founder, you are all set to launch a new application called Period Pal. So could
Hmm.
you tell us a little bit more about this, what it entails, and also how, this platform is going beyond creating products and sort of becoming a platform for conversation as well?
So I'm on board as a co-founder and chief innovative officer, basically trying to bring about the changes in this particular sector. I want to. My intention is basically to create a period positive place, first of all, where we come out and talk about it not as a taboo, where we don't feel awkward and ashamed about it, where we because the problems that can actually associate with it can be dealt with better if we are not awkward about talking about them at first place. We shun so many issues that are associated with it, like, for the longest time women just don't talk about the fact that they're going through rashes, and they just like going a, maybe because they don't have an option to choose a better product, or b, that they're just awkward about talking about rash in your intimate areas, where you're like, oh, how do I discuss this with someone? And so let's just continue, using whatever we have in hand. So all these kind of conversations need to happen in a normal space, in a positive space, where we can actually deal with the problems that are associated with periods. There needs to be an open forum for conversations. We need a certain kind of a support system to talk about menstruation, where there'll be a consultation that can happen. So basically, this Period Pal app that is going to be created is going to provide you all of this. There's going to be a consultant, there's going to be conversations around your problems and help to solve them. There's going to be proper support system that's going to be provided to you on issues that you feel awkward to talk about to anyone, or feel won't it be too awkward to go in a clinic and ask this thing. Maybe it's too trivial a thing, maybe it's too awkward a thing. So there's nothing too trivial and too awkward on this app, where you can directly take help of a consultant, a doctor who will help bust a myth, or help you give a solution for a problem, or help you track your cycle, help you keep a check on your health basis, the kind of inputs you're going to give around your cycle. And also it gives you a space to share your experiences with others, and at the same time help you subscribe to the product, which you don't really have to worry about going and buying at the last moment, and customize your pack. Basically, that's one thing that I was very, very sure and keen on, that everyone goes through a different experience and different requirements during those days. So no one standard pack can possibly cater to everyone, because it's, as I said, different for every woman. So you should have the ability to customize your own pack by deciding how many or what kind of pads do you need basis your requirement, and then have that subscribed and delivered at your doorstep every month without bothering to keep a track of it. So I think that is one thing that's going to help you make this period world a little stress less or stress free world.
Yeah, and I think that's long overdue, and I love how kind of multi-pronged this platform is, because you're catering to so many different needs of so many different women out there who, like you said, might not be entirely comfortable either going to a gynecologist or speaking to somebody in the family. So it's fantastic that this is such an inclusive and democratic space for people to have this conversation that definitely needs to be had by people from all walks of life and of all ages. So yeah, thank you so much for speaking to us about it today, and we're very excited for it to launch and get our hands on it and try it out ourselves.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tanya.
Bye.
Bye bye.